Hi, everybody. My name's Beverly Buncher, and I'm your host this evening. And welcome to this special event titled, What is Balm Family Recovery Coaching? What is Balm Family Recovery Life Coaching? And you'll notice that when we advertise this, we just put what is Family Recovery Life Coaching. We added the word Balm because Balm is the method that we use for our Family Recovery Life Coaching. And we'd like to tell you about that as well as the coaching itself. So I'm your host. My name is Beverly Buncher, and I'm the founder of the Balm and the program director of the Institute. And I wrote a book called Balm, The Loving Path to Family Recovery. So Balm is known as the loving path to family recovery. And Balm coaching is a transformational, inside-out career path. We call it inside out because it changes the coach's own lives, the lives of their families and loved ones that they serve. And community by community, Balm coaches are truly changing the world. So you may wonder, maybe you're already an ICF life coach, maybe you're a different kind of coach, and you're wondering what's unique about family recovery life coaching. Well, for one thing, life coaching is powerful. We don't want to underestimate the power of life coaching in and of itself. But when a loved one is struggling, often more is needed. And families will hire a family recovery life coach for their knowledge of use disorders and recovery, their understanding of how families recover, their understanding of what to do if the family is not getting better, and their understanding of what to do if the loved one is not getting better. These are characteristics and qualities that define what a family recovery life coach is and can do. Now, we believe that when it comes to working with families as a family recovery life coach, two things really matter. One is the quality of life coach instruction you receive. So we're an Icf-Actp, and we believe very strongly in this certification as having a very important role in training excellent family recovery life coaches. We also believe that the mastery of a series of structured curricula for families and coach training is critical. And the ones that we use are the Balm method of family recovery. You'll be hearing about that this evening. The Balm holistic model of family recovery development, and the Balm family recovery coaching method. All of this in addition to a year of ICF life coach training. Our program is 18 months long. It's substantive. It's not one of those, I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to do it overnight. No, when you apply yourself to this program, you are applying yourself to a serious, wonderful endeavor. And we see amazing transformation, not only in the ability of our coaches to coach, but in their ability to handle the stresses and strains that life often hands to people dealing with use disorders in their families. And we call this, as I said, inside out, because we want our coaches, the first thing our coaches learn is how to deal with their own struggles. And on that basis, how to help others. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So you may, if you don't know what an Icf-Actp is, it's an International Coach Federation accredited coach training program. Icf-Actps offer cutting-edge life coaching, training to deepen the client's learning so they can move forward powerfully. And the assumption in the coach that the client is healthy, whole, and ready to set goals and move toward their achievement. This is critical. These understandings are critical. We are not therapists. We are not sponsors. When we are family recovery life coaches trained in the ICF tradition and methodology, our coaches understand that our clients are healthy and whole. Right now, they may appear upset, disheveled, chaotic, stressed out, traumatized. The work that we do with them, along with any other providers on the care team, will be critical in their process. We know our responsibility, and we also know that within themselves, our clients have resources deep and wide to grow and change as they go through the process. In order to help them, we use every skill and tool we have in the service of their agenda. So a Balm family recovery life coach, like a life coach, serves the client and the client's agenda. You know, both life coaches and Balm family recovery life coaches learn how to ask powerful questions, be committed, focused listeners. They reflect back what they've heard, provide positive feedback and acknowledgement, encourage the client to lead the conversation, ask permission to share unsolicited ideas or suggestions, make an authentic or heart-to-heart connection, and honor confidentiality. These are skills that you will learn in our program. But not everything about the way that a generically trained life coach and a Balm family recovery life coach do are the same. What's interesting is that our coaches, we start out, and you'll hear about this later in the presentation, learning about the Balm, about family recovery, as I shared before, and then go into a year of working on life coaching, being a coach, using the skills of coaching, mastering coaching. And this is all before we get into family recovery life coaching. It's critical to us at the Balm Institute that our coaches are well trained in the ICF method of life coaching before they help others. You know, if you aren't, you could very well just tell your client what to do all the time, feel that they need you to lean on them. At the same time, there are times when your client may need more than dispassionate approach without an opinion. So in this part of the presentation, I'd like to share with you some of the differences and similarities between ICF life coaches and Balm coaches. So these life coaching behaviors support the ICF philosophy, and you'll find those in column 1. And in column 2, family recovery life coaching behaviors that support the Balm philosophy. And by the way, Balm stands for Be a Loving Mirror, and it is our transformation process in the Balm family recovery program. So a life coach asks questions, and so does a Balm coach. A Balm coach is also there as a guide when the client is in crisis, when invited or given permission to do so by a client. I'll never forget my first client who had serious family addiction issues in her home. And I would ask her permission to share or to guide. And she would say, "Why do you keep asking me that? Don't you know that I hired you so you would tell me what to do?" And I explained that as a life coach, it was very important that she know she is the guide of her life. I'm here to walk alongside her and to help her grow as much or as little as she wants to. So I will only give guidance when invited to or given permission to. So a life coach focuses on and champions what the client wants to achieve. A Balm coach has an advance agreement with the client as to how they wish to utilize you. So you're willing to be the question person, even when you have answers that could help, if that's what the client wants. And you're willing to provide information, resources, and guidance as requested by the family. You're willing to ask permission to share when you see a challenge you're competent to assist with. Balm coaches are there as guides, but not as bosses or clinicians. So life coaches allow discomfort, trusting the client's capability, and so do Balm coaches. Both coaches are willing to sit in the silence. A well-trained ICF coach knows when to lead and when to stand back. A well-trained Balm coach is an ICF coach who not only knows when to step back, but also has the knowledge of use disorders, recovery, and family recovery to know what the family needs to know, how to get them that information, and how and when to share it. ICF life coaches express their opinion without attachment and allow the client to express theirs. And that's the same with Balm coaches, but there's a caveat for Balm coaches. There may be times when the family is ill-informed, caught up in their co-addiction, or intent on enabling or otherwise encouraging use or standing in the way of a loved one's recovery. During these times, you use your Balm coaching skills, your Balm conversation skills, a loving tone, clear unclear charts, or one of your many other Balm coaching tools to help them get clear on what's going on and what their next steps will be. So a Balm coach is an ICF life coach with so many more skills that when they have a family in tremendous crisis, they don't become a therapist. They know their lane. They stay in it. They bring in other professionals as needed, but they don't feel that they can't be there as a guide when necessary. When we first created this program, our life coaching program was much stronger than our family recovery program. Now they're both amazing. And I wrote this with a team of amazing curriculum people who are coaches. So I feel confident in saying that. But in the beginning, I wrote the family recovery, what we call the third course. It's really the fourth course. But I wrote that course as a survey course, and it was just every skill and tool that I used when I had families that were in trouble that I had learned as a life coach. And then we looked at it. My curriculum director and I looked at this curriculum. We realized it wasn't giving people the skills they needed to be different appropriately when called for. We also noticed that our coaches were hanging on to the ICF model of not sharing too much, not, when to lead, when to stand back. That is an ICF quality. However, it takes coaches a while after really being schooled, especially people who have been impacted by family addiction. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. You've been in a situation where you've either been completely traumatized or you've had to take control. You've chosen to take control. Now you're learning how to not take control as a coach, right? How to respect the other person, bring out their own transformation. And then you get to the family recovery coaching class, and we said, you can tell them what to do sometimes. And they couldn't. So we looked at our whole program, and here's what we found. We found that our family recovery curriculum, the order in which it had been written over the years, it took people through a process of developmental levels that allowed them to move themselves and their family from chaos to calm, from co-addiction to family recovery. And so we took that model, we call it the Balm holistic model of family recovery development. We took that model, we took Prochaska's stages of change, we took life coaching, and we took this idea of how to interact with families so that they can have that movement forward in their lives. And we created a third course that is so powerful that when people finish that course, they know the difference. They know how to help a family. It's astounding. I was really worried at first because it felt like I was the only one who got it. And it was because I hadn't written the right course. Anyway, enough of that background. I want to tell you about some of the things that Balm family recovery life coaches can do. One of the things that you'll be trained to do in this program is to be a family recovery facilitation specialist. You'll be able to teach the 12 Balm principles in the class, online or in person. You know, families around the world are desperate to know how to help their loved ones. This is really the time. We are getting calls from treatment centers, from courts, from counties, desperate, desperate, desperate for what we have. Whereas before we would call them, what? We're working with the addict, as they said. And it became very important for us to really just get the word out privately. Now people are, I'm being invited all over the country to speak, and we're getting phone calls from places that are desperate. This is a good time to get into this career and learn how to help families adopt the Balm's loving approach. This approach and our structured curriculum really provide the missing link for families. And the 12 Principles is a turnkey course. You can teach it online, in person, at churches, treatment centers, community centers, libraries, wherever you want. And this part of your business becomes a funnel to help you build a sustainable coaching practice. For many families, what happens is that they take this course and then they want to get into the full Balm program. And then they want a coach. And it's because they realize from working with you in the 12 Principles course that there's so much more for them to learn and so much more growth for them to have. You'll also learn how to life coach, and you'll be prepared for your ICF certification. You'll be able to coach anyone on anything. This whole new paradigm of life coaching awaits you. And today, everybody wants a life coach. As a life coach, you can work with anyone, including CEOs, teens, retirees, educators, students. You become an expert in the process of coaching individuals to their deepest truth. And your skill set will also allow you to help a person find a new career, choose their next steps in life, find and develop new relationships, or make choices in any area of life. It is an exciting, upbeat career. And in this Balm Family Recovery Life Coaching Program, you're not just learning how to be a life coach, or just learning how to be a facilitation specialist, or just learning how to be a Balm Family Recovery coach. Any one of these would be an amazing career path. In this program, you have all three. And it's interesting because, you have choices, and some coaches are just traveling around their states teaching the Balm 12 Principles, and others just want to coach. And some people just want life coaching. They've trained as family recovery. The cool thing about getting this family recovery life coach training is you go at the beginning, the families are in tremendous chaos. And so you're working and helping them. And because there's a curriculum for them, you're not needed 24/7, but they have access to 24/7 help. It's quite amazing. And you're going to hear more about that in a moment. But the thing about it is that you are helping families solve their most challenging problems. You get to work with wives, parents, siblings, grandparents, and treatment centers need high-level family recovery life coaches to refer to. Why not you? If you look on our Balm Training Institute website on the cover page where it says see our courses, you'll see the partnering community partners. And there are three interviews or three tapes. One is me talking about why a therapist would want their families in the Balm program. One is one of our Balm coaches and a treatment center where she has brought the Balm and she works as practically part of the team. And we have another coach interview that is doing the same thing. This is happening more and more. We're having it Pennsylvania, Missouri, Ohio, all over the country. We have California Balm coaches working with treatment centers, with organizations to help families. So, as I said, we utilize this Balm holistic model of family recovery development, and we make a life-changing difference in the lives of families every day. Okay, so how about it? Maybe you are taking this program because you've got this in your background or in your current life. You don't want to work with families. You want to be a life coach. Having this program will be so amazing for you and your family, and you'll have the skills that any good, solid life coaching program will give you. So you get personal transformation and career transformation. And of course, if people can't build a sustainable business, they won't have a business. They'll go do something else. This business model allows you to grow a sustainable business as you help families recover. You'll be able to move forward purposefully, always staying in the professional lane through turnkey offerings, a powerful skill set, and opportunities to collaborate and grow. You'll be able to uncover new pathways and utilize our Balm signature programs to assist you in making your way, following our time-worn trails that lead to success in the field. Oh, yeah. And I started to tell you this before. See, here's the thing. Let's say the family is in chaos at the beginning of your relationship. If they're in the Balm program, which is our curriculum, and you're coaching them, within several months, chances are they're going to be doing much better. At that point, members of the family will be ready for regular old life coaching. And you don't have to send them to somebody else because you have the skills to do both. Balm Family Recovery Life Coaching is a career path designed to empower you to create a world without relapse, one family at a time. We imagine that world in the Balm, and we work toward it every day. But how do Balm coaches create all of this change? So you will attain so many tools in this program. If you're already a life coach, you know about all the tools that you've gained. You'll gain even more, far more family recovery tools. And these tools can make all the difference in how you help families, in increasing the effectiveness of your coaching by empowering your client to work on real life experiences during the coaching session. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's one of my absolute favorite tools, and it's a tried and true, the clear, unclear. Tomorrow in your email, we'll send you an email tomorrow, and in it, you'll have a handout that I wrote called The Loving Path, how we look at what loving behavior is in Balm. And then you'll have a handout called The Quick Guide, which you may have already seen, but if you didn't, you'll have that. It's a link, and all of the exercises that are being introduced tonight are actually taught pretty much in depth in the Quick Guide. It's 4 different tapes. Tonight's version is like a pull together, some from each of those. So if you want to go more in depth into understanding Clear and Clear or other tools, you can get that in the quick guide. So here's what happens. Somebody comes to you with a problem. You don't solve it for them. You ask them to write the challenge they're facing, and then to make a list of everything they are absolutely clear about. They're sure, it's factual. And they make that list. You make it with them. And then you ask them to make a list of anything they're unclear about. You have to be careful. This is very tricky. If they think something's true, it goes in unclear. The only thing that goes in clear are the things that you are absolutely sure of, real facts. So in the quick guide, and also in this deck that you will have tomorrow, we're giving you this slide deck, is a tiny URL. You can watch this this demo of me going through the Clear and Clear so that you can see how to use it. It's a very cool thing. Whoops. Another favorite is My Business, His Business, God's Business. You write a challenge that's facing you and you look at it. Perhaps your loved one is they don't believe they have a problem, whatever that challenge is. And then you look at what are all the pieces of that problem that are your business? What are all the things that are his or her business? And what are all the parts of it that are God's or the universe's business? And you get that down on paper, and there's a lot more of how to do that in the quick guide. So you can, and coaches learn this and practice it, and it's only a couple of a multitude of tools that you'll have access to. So tools are wonderful, but without a structured curriculum for your families, tools can only go so far. I remember when one of my first and most successful to this day coaches came into the program, and she already knew family recovery, been in Al-Anon for years, and we had the Balm program, and all of our coaches go through the Balm program, and she wouldn't do it. She said, I know family recovery. I just want to get my certification. I'm here to get a certification. And I said, do me a favor. There are 12 lessons in the 12 principles. All I ask is that every night for the next 2 weeks, you listen to one of those principles and then call me back. She called me back 12 days later and she said, oh my God. I said, what? She said, I don't have to create a curriculum for families. It's already done. And that's absolutely right. We have a curriculum for your families, and you will learn that curriculum. And then you will have you'll have opportunities as part of this program to learn how to teach the 12 principles, to put your families in the whole Balm program. When you're working with a family and they are in the Balm program, that curriculum backs up everything you do as a family member. It does the heavy lifting. It clears up the subtle difference between recovery-oriented behaviors and those that aren't. And when it includes evidence-based practices, you're giving your families tools, activities, concepts, and steps with the power to make a difference. This is the work of a Balm family recovery life coach. Balm provides the keys to a powerful family recovery curriculum where families learn the family's role, how change happens, how to let go without giving up or giving in, how to be your loved one's best chance, how to transform through the 7 steps to be a loving mirror, understanding the role of self-care, love, boundaries, support, and knowing how and when to access each, building powerful relationships with spirit, self, and others, and walking the loving path of be a loving mirror. How do you know if this program is for you? Well, it could be for you if you're looking for coach training par excellence. If you're looking for family recovery education, not found anywhere else. And if you're looking for business development training designed to help you reach your goals. If all of those check off, take this one seriously. And that's not it. Our coach training includes a strong business training component, focusing on the essentials of starting and running a successful coaching practice or business, a variety of business models, opportunities to grow and prosper with the Balm, and information to help you develop your own programs. Some of you may only be here to learn how to teach the 12 principles. That's fine. That's component one of the coach training. You will just take that. That's perfect. And if you decide at a later time to take the whole program, it's just an add-on. So here's how the program is set up. There are 4 components. So the first component is Balm Mastery, and it includes Balm 12 Principles Facilitation Certification. It also includes what we call the component 1 gatherings. So you'll learn the Balm 12 principles, the 7 steps. You'll learn how to teach the Balm 12 principles, and you will learn the back end of the Balm. That's what I call it. You'll learn the professional view of why we set up exactly as we did, how each component leads to the next, how to most effectively share it with your families. Component 1 is a very powerful tool for people who want to facilitate the 12 principles in a classroom setting, or who want to be coaches and then also use the 12 principles in their practice. The second component is the Fundamentals of Life Coaching 1 and 2. In the Fundamentals of Life Coaching 1, you learn what it means to be a coach. It's a completely different way of life, coaching. And then you learn skills of coaching, and there are so many. This is a very powerful part of the program. Next, you go into advanced life coaching. We teach at the level of PCC. We have PCC markers, mentor coaching using the new core competencies. And then, of course, there's a practicum. All of this program is completely online, which is why we have students from all over the world, from as far away as South Africa, England, India, Australia, Costa Rica, California. I'm in Florida, so California is far. That's part 3. And so the last part of the course is where you learn how to do family recovery coaching and develop your business. But here's the thing, we save the best for last. We don't teach you how to be a Balm coach until you know how to be a life coach. And on that foundation, you're confident as to when you should say your opinion and when you shouldn't, when you should share a story and when you shouldn't. It's critical information from coaches, as those of you who are already coaches know. And as I said, you can study to be a family recovery specialist, teaching the 12 principles. You can be a certified life coach with a background in family recovery, and or a certified Balm family recovery life coach. You can swallow this program whole or take it in parts. As I said, you can just take component 1 and get your Balm Family Recovery Facilitation Specialist certification. Or you can take all 4 components and become a Balm Family Recovery Life Coach and Facilitation Specialist. If you already have ICF training, you are required to take component 1 and component 3 and component 4. So that's Balm Facilitator Certification, Mentor Coaching, Family Recovery Coaching, and Business Development. But I will tell you this, we have had many people come in with the pure intention of just taking the minimum, and they end up taking the whole thing because they want it. They want that special thing, that ineffable thing that Balm adds to our coach training program. So what we decided to do, first of all, People who are already ICF life coaches, you get a significant discount and on the whole program, and you have access to the whole program, so that whether you just take the parts that you haven't had yet or you take the whole thing, you've got it. And you may decide you want to take other parts of it later. We're not going to charge you for that. So do all Balm coaches do the same thing? Of course not. Balm coaches decide their focus, their business goals, and our strong business development curriculum makes this possible. You take this online in your home or in your office. And now let's look at the tuition for the program. The package includes the full ACT program, which includes Balm Mastery, Facilitation Specialist Certification, Life Coach Training, Fundamentals, Mentor Coaching, and Practicum, Balm Family Recovery Coach Training, Student-to-Student Coaching, 48 hours of coaching and 48 hours of being coached, and Business Development Training. All of this is usually $9,000. Our COVID tuition is $7,000. But if you're here and now, you have an opportunity for significant savings. The bonuses for signing up by the end of this week are as follows: free attendance at the Next 7 Steps online retreat, and that value is now $599. It used to be $399 when we first started, and that'll be most likely next winter. 1 free admission to the next 6-week direct inquiry meditation group, phenomenal, taught by our direct inquiry meditation teacher. 1 free admission to the next Journal Your Way to Balm Recovery 2 or 3 hour workshop. Those happen 2-3 times a year. They're amazing. And for this week only, instead of $7,000 for the entire program, your tuition will be $5,500 if you sign up for the program by Friday. And don't worry if you're like trying to figure all this out. I'm going to go over it again. You'll have it in the letter tomorrow. You'll have this slide deck to look at, and you can always call Karen, our outreach coordinator, or me with any questions you have. So there are ongoing bonuses for everyone who joins the coach training. You get free full access to the full Balm Family Recovery Education program throughout your education, and for 2 full years following your graduation for up to 4 people in your family. That's worth about $4,800. If you weren't going to take coach training and were just going to do the family program, that's about what it would cost. It's $1,800 the first year, and it's worth a lot more than that, because it's about 4 years, so it would be $3,000 plus $1,800. No, that's right, $4,800. And then you'll have on-demand access to an Introduction to Heart Math course. It's a 9-hour course previously taught live on the Balm by a licensed heart math facilitator who's also a Balm coach. And you'll have on-demand access to Be the Peace You Wish to See in the World, a course on our platform that you may share with your loved one. And it's filled with mindfulness, activities, and conversations. Also, as a registrant, you'll get an email tomorrow that will have the Loving Path handout, the quick guide videos, and the Blueprint to Success, which really goes into tremendous detail about the program, so you can learn about that. And all of this will be covered in the email you'll get. So let's just go over again. Until Friday, May 20th, this usually $9,000, but in COVID, $7,000 program is now $5,500 until May 20th. You'll use the coupon code TSPEC 1500 on your shopping cart. And then if you wait another week, it'll go up $500 and be $6,000, and your coupon code will be TSPEC 1000. The special pricing for advanced ICF coaches and experienced addiction therapists is $5,000. Please call to see if you qualify. 1-888-998-2256, extension 5. And this includes all 4 components. It's payable upfront, and financing is available. So how do you do all this? You'll have, I think, Lori, have we put the coaching agreement into the chat? Could we get the coaching agreement in the chat? It will also be sent out tomorrow in the email, or it's really actually a link to the page where the coaching agreements are. All of this is in the Be a Loving Mirror website. And you go on the website, you go to the professional department, for professional training, and you go to, if you want to be a coach, you go to the coaching page and it'll say enroll here or apply for a loan, because we have this, these wonderful loans that are available. And you click there and you're either going to pay in full for your coach training, or you're going to click and apply for a loan, and then you'll get, once you just pay your application fee for the loan, which is non-refundable, then you will get your the link to apply for the loan. So you'll complete your enrollment, and if all's well, you'll get started. We're here to help you with the process. It's simple. I hope it doesn't seem complicated. So please let us know how we can help you. And I think that's the last page of this presentation. I would like to be here for you. I'm definitely here for you. We're in a webinar. So in a webinar, there are Q&A boxes at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to close the screen share. So you should see Q&A boxes. If you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A box, and I'm more than happy to answer. I see quite a few of you are here. Any questions about the programs, any questions about me, any questions about anything about the Balm, we're more than happy to answer those questions for you. So please put your questions into the box, or if you'd like to make a comment. And I see some familiar faces here. It's not faces, but names, some people who've been in the Balm for a while, and a lot of newcomers too. And if you feel like in the Q&A box, I'd rather you didn't do it in the chat, but in the Q&A box, you can put your name and say hi and why you're here, or anything you'd like to share. We will not announce names on the webinars. We don't announce names. We want you to have some modicum of privacy. Any questions? I see we have coaches here. There's a question. Okay. Can you tell us more about Balm Grief Recovery Support Group? Is it an online option or a training model? Yes, thank you for asking about that, Elika. That is a course we offer from time to time. When we have a lot of requests for it, we will put it together. It's a course that we've offered. In the Balm, we have, we add different things as we go. So we've been working with families for years. Now we're adding a recovery life coaching program. We've worked with adults for years. Now we're adding family recovery for families of teenagers. And one of these days we do have the intention to add a grief recovery coach training. It's not in the next year or so, but when there is a request for grief recovery support group, we do put it out there to see if we have enough to start a group. There's some more questions. Thank you for the information. Wondering if most of the curriculum is self-taught? Absolutely not. No. No, you will be in classes. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to be in the facilitation specialist, you can do a lot of on-demand work. There are lots of videos. So the, the, the family recovery program has 12 principles. Each one of those principles has an hour-long lesson. And you'll see those principles in your blueprint that you get tomorrow. And 7 steps to be a loving mirror. There are recorded courses of these that you can access. We encourage you to take them live. That's why we'd like to encourage you to start now, because June, if you want to be in this cohort, you get signed up, let's say this week, if you can. You get started in all of your balming. You can come to live classes. We have up to 8 live classes a week, or you can do it all on recording. You're responsible for the 12 principles, 7 steps, and specific recordings of interviews that we believe will help you. And then there are lots of other interviews that are just amazing on all different topics in family recovery and addiction. And that's the first component. And the live class that you must take during that first quarter is the class that I teach on Thursday nights, which is the component 1 gatherings. And that's where we take everything you're learning in the Balm curriculum and talk about it as professionals and how it works to actually make this work in a family's life. So then you get to coach training. It's 2 hours of live classes every week. It's just a 2-hour class for a full 1.5 years in class. I think it's about a year, actually. This cohort, it'll be every Thursday night, with the exception of holidays, every Thursday for about a year. And mentor coaching is sometimes on a different day. And they're classes. You'll work with another student who will be your coach and a student who you will coach. And every 12 weeks, you get a new coach and a new coachee. You study together. Sometimes, you'll study, but it isn't self-taught. So if you're I'm going to say a couple of things. Who might this program not be for? If you live in Australia and you cannot do opposite time, it will be hard for you to do the whole coach training program at this time. We do have people who are doing it. It's hard. So if you're really dedicated, we have our first coach trainee in Australia now working on getting it. It took her a while to figure out the schedule. If you are a sober companion or a person who does interventions and your schedule is completely out of whack and you can never make it every week to class, it's going to be hard for you to complete this course. You have to be present 10 out of 12 in every class. You can only miss, in other words, 2 lessons once the coach training starts of each module, of each class that you take, course. I hope that answered the question. Yes, the payment is in US dollars. Okay, this new cohort, we invite you to start now so you can get ahead with the balming and getting the 12 principles under your belt and the 7 steps course, whether recorded live in person, not in person, online. And then on January 2nd, I'll be teaching on Thursday nights. And you want to, if possible, you want to at least listen to the 12 principles and taken the 7 steps, or, even if only by recording, by June 3rd, June 2nd, because we're going to be going over it as professionals. You don't have to have done it. In fact, some people will sign up in June or July, but you're getting here now, and optimally, you want to hit the ground running on June 2nd. Next question. And so the start date, it's Thursday nights this summer. Then the coach training will be Thursday nights for the next, and we go by Eastern time. So it's 5 p.m. Eastern time for this for the summer course. And can someone help me? Is it 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 on Thursday nights for the, you can write it in the chat, Lori, if you want. I can't remember the whole coach training on Thursday evenings. It's a 2-hour. What else can I tell you? And this will go all the way through. You will have time. You'll be working in pairs. You'll be working in 3s and 4s. You have amazing faculty who will walk you through this entire process. You're learning very high level ICF. You're being in an Icf-Actp. You are taught to the level of a PCC, and our curriculum staff is right now studying the PCC markers with ICF, and their assessment is that we are teaching to the high end of the PCC markers, which is really to your benefit. We're just amazed by the quality of students coming out of this program. In addition, one of the things that we're finding is that, in the beginning, people weren't passing the test. This was years ago. It took a long time, 6 to 8 p.m. the Thursday evening. Now, most students are passing with very few problems because we are so well structured and organized and substantive in what you get, that you are well prepared at every step of the way. So after this, great question. After this certification, do you offer guidance in finding families to coach? So here's some really cool things. First of all, we have an in-house coaching program. So what does that mean? Some coaches decide they don't want to go out and look for clients, and so they become in-house coaches, and families are coming to us from all over the world, really, and our coaches are working with them, and we supervise those coaches. If you're an in-house coach, you're receiving supervision, coach supervision twice a month. And our coaches who are in that program say again and again how amazed they are at how their coaching is growing by being an in-house coach. Very exciting. Next question, is there a certification exam required at the end of the course? Okay, so there are basically 3 exams. Let me tell you a little bit about them. First, when you're in component 1, you're going to have an open book online exam on the Balm. It's not really hard. You just have to know the Balm. It's critical to us that you know the Balm, because knowing the Balm and, being able to help your families with this amazing curriculum makes you so much more effective as a coach. And so there's an open book test for that. Then when you're finished with your coach training, you will take an oral exam, and you're well prepared for it. It's an oral coaching exam. And that is in order to graduate from the program. We have an ICF assessor is our director of education. And she's one of the first coaches. She's quite amazing. Her name is Fran Fisher. We're very fortunate to have her. We also have Pam Thomas as one of our faculty, and I can go on and on. We have a good, solid faculty. The point is that these folks know what you need to know, and you are well prepared at every step of the way. Finally, when you finish and you've got your 100 hours and you want to apply to the ICF, you will take an online core competency exam, which students in good Icf-Actps are well prepared for. So are there exams? Yes. Are you well prepared for them? Yes. Quite amazing. More questions? Let's see. Are you familiar with Dr. John Kelly and the Recovery Research Institute, and do you have his endorsement? I don't know how much he knows about us. I did interview him on the Daily Balm years ago, And I've never asked for his endorsement. I know the Prochaskas. I worked with the Prochaskas. They helped me. They approved of everything and gave an endorsement for my use of their stages of change. Dr. John Kelly, he's amazing. And I quote him in my book. It's a good idea to go and ask for his endorsement. I don't know what that process is. I have, no, never asked for it. And I think he works with another competing school or group, which is fine. There's so much need. What else? Other questions? Any other questions? It looks like a lot of them were answered. Is there anything else that I can help you with? You know, when I was working on my book, you may or may not have heard of motivational interviewing, the stages of change. These wonderful methodologies in the recovery world play a big role in our program. We teach our coaches how to utilize motivational interviewing with clients. We teach families how to utilize motivational interviewing with their loved ones. We teach the stages of change and how to be a catalyst for change in a loved one and how to see your own stages. We have an adaptation. You'll see it in the blueprint that I wrote and that the Prochaskas signed off on for the stages of change so that people can figure out where they are. Families learn that they too have their stage of change. It's not all about the loved one. What else? Another question. Does the Balm website have a list of SUD Texas providers who offer Balm within their family? TX? I guess you don't mean Texas. Within their family offerings. Maybe you could spell out what you mean by TX. So, substance use disorder treatment providers. Oh, I see. TX is treatment. Okay. We don't have that. We have this is something really interesting that we found out. In the beginning, we had a whole bunch of treatment centers that were using the Balm. Over the years, we have some who continue. We're now having an onslaught of as I told you before, of counties that are calling us and asking us to help them get the Balm in there. But we don't have it on our website. We just don't. And I can tell you the ones that are still with us. Tomorrow night, every Wednesday night, I interview either a family member or a loved one or an expert. Like I told you, I interviewed John Kelly. And tomorrow night, I'm interviewing one of our coaches and her son. She got into the Balm 3 or 4 years ago in her son's 4th treatment center. And she told me, for the first time I heard this story, that the treatment center, they've been with us for 4 or 5 years, this treatment center, and they took her through a process of writing a Balm conversation, or what she at that time thought was a Balm conversation. That has changed over the years for her. I just thought that was a great story. Maybe you had to be there. But here's the interesting thing about that. Oh, gosh. What our coaches are finding is that when they go to treatment centers, and if you look at the Balm Training Institute front page, and you go to the list of categories of classes and go to community partners and the interviews, our coaches are finding that sometimes it's best not to sell a license to a treatment center, but rather to work with that treatment center. The treatment center gives the coach, the family, the coach signs the family up personally in the Balm for a year and as a coaching client, and then the coach becomes a part of the treatment team. So that's really the approach that we're mostly using. We have that going on in Maryland, Pennsylvania. Where are some of the other states? In Texas, we have a licensed. In California, we have both licensed and coaches working with treatment centers. What else? I don't know how relevant that is. Let's see if there's another question. Would a recording of this session be available? Sure, of course. And we're also sending you the PowerPoint slides. So the recording should be up in the next day or two, and maybe we'll just send it out. Do we send it out, Lori, or will it be up on the website? It'd be nice if we sent it out. I'm waiting for a response in the chat about that. It's a good question. More questions. Yes. Oh, good question. Oh, these are great. This is a big commitment and investment. What are the top 3 questions we should ask ourselves to decide if it's a fit? I'd say the first one is, do you want to work with families? How important is that to you? If your answer to that is yes, and you want to work as a coach, you just have to see, there are other programs out there. I don't think there are too many that have a full comprehensive family recovery program and a coach training program and a facilitation program and multiple streams of income. There's just so much that this program offers. So that's one thing you're going to want to ask yourself in terms of what is it that you're looking for? Are you looking for depth and width and breadth? If you are, this could probably be a good choice for you. Another thing that you're going to want to ask yourself. What value do you put on peace? This is a program built on the idea that peace and love and connection are the way to family recovery. The rest is commentary. Now, we teach a lot of commentary. We give our coaches tons of tools to help their families get to that peace, learn new communication, become a loving mirror. But ultimately, this is about peace, love, and connection. And we do believe that love is the answer. When Johann Hari wrote that, when that quote came out from him, and the quote was, the opposite of recovery, or the opposite of addiction is not recovery. The opposite of addiction is connection. I got calls from all over the country. Oh, is he a Balmer? Does he know about the Balm? We don't claim to be the only game in town, but if you have a loving approach to family recovery, this could be a very good choice for you. And another question that you could ask yourself, how important is the Icf-Actp for you? This is, I believe, the only fully accredited coach training program to focus on family recovery. Other questions? I would also just go through the materials. If you want to have an appointment with me or with Karen in outreach, we're here for you. We'll do it. We'll talk. We'll answer more questions. It's funny. When I wrote the letter, before class, I wrote the letter. And at the end of the letter, I wrote, we hope you'll join us and never look back. When I became a coach, my coach training then cost more than what you guys are going to pay now because we have this amazing reduction special, whatever you want to call it. And This to me seems really irresponsible now. However, I was ready. I knew. I put it on a credit card, never looked back, never looked back. Because of coach training, I have built an amazing career and life for myself and my family. And I wish that for all of you. I wish you to be able to build whatever it is that you want on the inside and the outside. And if you feel that this program could help you achieve that, I invite you to consider us. Well, we're after 9. You can reach us at 1-888-998-2256. Karen Zimmerman is on here. She's our outreach coordinator. I don't know if she's still on, but she was. You can reach her at extension 5. She'll answer any questions you have. If you want an appointment with me as well, more than happy to do that. And I hope I'll see you in class in June. Thanks for coming tonight. And remember, be a loving mirror. Good night, everybody.